In memory of Trayvon Martin, the United States Department of Justice and the Sanford Police Department are gambling with what appears to be a cover-up of premeditated murder by George Zimmerman, betting that Trayvon Martin will not get justice. Justice delayed is not denied. It is time for the American citizens to unite together. They want justice for Trayvon Martin. It is time to unite together and move forward under the right of revolution. United States President Barack Obama was warned that if he didn't hear the rattle, he would feel the bite. Justice delayed is not justice denied. United States citizens uniting and standing together and moving forward under the right to revolution. In 2008, the United States citizens voted for change. Here we are, approximately 3.5 years later, and still the same old foolishness and injustice. Yes, United States citizens will be moving forward and bring about the change that they voted for. Approximately 3.5 years later, no change. 2008, change that the United States citizens voted for under United States President Barack Obama will not happen. Waiting on this president, who with his administration and the United States Congress are the major reasons for the continuing injustices. In fact, here are some of the racial injustices that have taken place under United States President Barack Obama's watch. The first alleged African American. Frederick Germain Carter was lynched, murdered, killed on or about December 3rd, 2010. 6 months later, James Craig Anderson, run over by white racists on or about June the 26th, 2011. Three months later, Troy Davis appears to have been wrongfully executed on September the 21st, 2011. "12 days later, Danny Chinn appears may have been killed or murdered on or about October 3rd, 2011, and the United States military covered up as a suicide. Abraham Lincoln once said, "In the end, it's not the years in your life that counts. It's the life in your years." Let's not let these victims' deaths go in vain. It is time to unite together and move forward under the right to revolution. On or about Sunday, February 26, 2012, George Zimmerman, it appears, gambled with using the Florida Stand Your Ground law to cover up and facilitate the murder, killing of Trayvon Martin. The following is George Zimmerman's 9/11 call in the Trayvon Martin matter. It appears clearly premeditated murder. Zimmerman, a criminal justice major, writing the whole script to fit into the Stand Your Ground law, but failed because he couldn't predict what the operator would say or ask. Appears to be an all-out racially motivated killing or murder and blatant attempted cover-up by the Sanford, Florida Police Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, a Ku Klux Klan affiliate, and a Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz. who is counsel advisor to U.S. President Barack Obama, and have played a major role in many cover-ups of racially motivated crimes against African Americans, people of color. The FBI is investigating the Trayvon Martin matter with dirty hands.
Sanford Police Department. Line is being recorded. Sean.
Hey, we've had some break-ins in my neighborhood, and there's a real suspicious guy. It's Retrieve View Circle. The best address I can give you is 111 Retrieve View Circle. This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining, and he's just walking around looking about.
Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic?
He looks black.
Did you see what he was wearing?
Yeah, a dark hoodie, like a gray hoodie, and either jeans or sweatpants and white tennis shoes. He's here now. He was just staring.
Pertinent facts to understand about this portion of the 911 call is: number 1, Zimmerman having knowledge that the 911 operator was recording conversation. Pertinent in that it appears that Zimmerman had planned on having a recording to support a stand your ground defense. 2, clearly it appears that Zimmerman is setting the stage for his criminal intent to commit murder, mentioning the following to highlight in justifying his premeditation to commit the murder of Trayvon Martin. A, we just had some break-ins in my neighborhood. This information which can be verified and checked into. B, there's a real suspicious guy. C, look like he's up to no good. D, he's on drugs or something. 3, Zimmerman acknowledges the weather condition as it's raining, yet alleges that suspect Trayvon Martin is just walking around looking about. Pertinent in that it clearly appears Zimmerman is attempting to make it seem Martin is casing the neighborhood in the rain, on foot, for purposes of burglary, robbery, theft, etc. This appears to be the reason for opening up 911 call mentioning break-ins. 4, Zimmerman setting up is racially profiling, most likely learned from his criminal justice courses, stating that alleged suspect Trayvon Martin looks black. 5, Zimmerman identifying the wearing of a hoodie, although acknowledging weather condition as raining. 6, Zimmerman, stand your ground builder. He's here now. He was just staring, attempting to set up a confrontation scene he wanted to play out for the 911 operator.
Oh, he's just walking around the area?
At all the houses.
Okay.
Now he's just staring at me.
Okay, and so it's 1111 Retrieve View or 111?
That's the clubhouse.
That's the clubhouse. Do you know what he's near the clubhouse right now?
Yeah, now he's coming towards me.
Okay.
He's got his hand in his waistband. Yeah, he's a black male.
Okay. How old would you say he
He's
looks?
got a button on his shirt. Late teens.
Late teens, okay.
Pertinent facts that it appears may be of interest in regards to this section of the 911 call. 1, Zimmerman, it appears, is playing to the 911 operator and continuing to set the stage by stating alleged suspect Trayvon Martin is looking at all the houses. Again, to imply that Martin is casing the neighborhood for purposes of committing crimes. 2. Again, Zimmerman appears to be setting the stage for premeditation for murder and a confrontation with alleged suspect Trayvon Martin to use his premeditated stand your ground defense by stating, "Now he's just staring at me. Now he's coming towards me. He's got his hand in his waistband and he's a black male," attempting to now make it appear that suspect Trayvon Martin may be packing, toting, carrying a concealed weapon or gun within his pants and approaching him, deliberately attempting to paint a gangster-style image of alleged suspect Trayvon Martin and re-emphasizing race as black. Premeditation, in that from the sound effects in the background while Zimmerman is talking, it appears he may be getting out his gun and preparing to use it.
He's a black male.
Okay. How old would you say he
He's
was?
got a button on his shirt. Late teens.
Late teens? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Something's wrong with him. Yeah. He's coming to check me out. He's got something in his hands. I don't know what his deal is.
Okay, just let me know if he does
Get an
anything,
officer
okay?
over here.
Yeah, we got him on the way. Just let me know if this guy does anything else.
Okay. These assholes, they always get away. Yeah. When you come to the clubhouse, you come straight in and make a left. Actually, you would go past the clubhouse.
Okay, it says on the left-hand side from the clubhouse?
Information that may be relevant to this portion of the 911 tape is as follows. 1. Zimmerman, a criminal justice major, it appears is playing to the 911 operator and continuing to set the stage by stating, "Something's wrong with him. He's coming to check me out. He's got something in his hand," for the premeditated stand your ground defense. Duh. Going to a stranger's car? Who could be a child molester murderer? Which the latter appears to be the case. A murderer. So going to the vehicle to confront him? 2. Zimmerman, for the cover-up of premeditated murder and to play the stand your ground defense that he feared for his life, interjects, "Can you get an officer over here?" while preparing to use his gun, failing to advise the operator that he had a gun. 3. Zimmerman's obscenity and statement claiming, "They always get away," establishes an admission of a pattern of practice with him, crying wolf, and premeditation that alleged suspect Trayvon Martin will not get away. The operator clearly wanted to be advised if suspect Trayvon Martin did anything else. Zimmerman disappointed, the operator did not seem to be handling the call the way he wanted him to.
On the left-hand side from the clubhouse?
No, you go in straight through the entrance, and then you make a left. Yeah, you go straight in, don't turn and make a left. Shit, he's running.
He's running? Which way is he running?
Down towards the other entrance of the neighborhood.
Okay, which entrance is that he's heading towards?
The back entrance.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
The following information may be pertinent or relevant to this section of the 911 call. 1. Zimmerman, using obscenity, claims that suspect Trayvon Martin is running. Sounds as though Zimmerman rushes to get out of vehicle because one can hear chime and door opening and being slammed shut, then wind gushing. Zimmerman telling operator that suspect Trayvon Martin is running. 2. Premeditated hate crime. Zimmerman calls the alleged suspect Trayvon Martin a racist slur, blanking coons. This racist alleged to be white Hispanic. 3. Zimmerman was asked by the operator, "Are you following him?" Zimmerman answering, "Yeah." Operator advised Zimmerman, "We don't need you to do that." Nevertheless, Zimmerman, after agreeing, okay, disobeys the operator's advice and continues pursuit armed with a deadly weapon, a gun.
Are you following him?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Okay.
All right, sir, what is your name?
George. He ran.
All right, George, what's your last name?
Zimmerman.
And George, what's the phone number you're calling from?
407-435-2400.
All right, George, we do have...
In regards to this section of the 911 call, the following is noted. Reiterating. 1. Zimmerman was asked by the operator, "Are you following him?" Zimmerman answering, "Yeah." Operator advised Zimmerman, "We don't need you to do that." Nevertheless, Zimmerman, after agreeing, okay, disobeys the operator's advice and continues pursuit armed with a deadly weapon, a gun. 2. Zimmerman appears to be an unknown and stranger to suspect Trayvon Martin, therefore could have been perceived as a child molester, kidnapper, or murderer. It is known that children are taught to run away from what they believe is danger, strangers. So you have a grown man in a neighborhood sitting in a vehicle, and when a child is approaching, he gets out and pursues him with a gun, with criminal intent, which appears to have resulted in murder.
All right, George, we do have them on the way. Do you want to meet with the officer when they get out there?
Yeah.
All right, where are you going to meet with them at?
If they come in through the gate, tell them to go straight past the clubhouse and straight past the clubhouse and make a left. And then they go past the mailboxes. You'll see my truck.
Okay, what address are you parked in front of?
I don't know. It's a cut through, so I don't know the address.
Okay, do you live in the area?
Yeah.
What's your apartment number?
It's a home. It's 19.
In regards to this section of the 911 call, the following is noted. 1. Zimmerman is alleged to be the neighborhood watch person. However, could not provide the operator with the address where he was parked. Apparently a lie, and clearly failure supports that he was not at or in his vehicle, but in hot pursuit with a gun when giving this information. Because how difficult would it be to look at the address had he obeyed instructions not to follow alleged suspect Trayvon Martin?
What's your apartment number?
It's a home. It's 1950. Oh, crap. I don't want to give it out loud. I don't know where this kid is.
Okay, do you want to just meet with him right near the mailboxes then?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, George. I'll let him know to meet you with you out there. Okay?
Actually, could you have him call me and I'll tell him where I'm at?
Okay. Yeah, that's no problem.
You need my number or you got it?
Yeah, I got it. 407-435-2400.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, no problem. I'll let them know to call you when they're in the area.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Comments in regards to this section of the 911 tape is as follows. 1. Zimmerman's statement clearly supports again his knowledge of being recorded, furthermore alleging that he had lost suspect Trayvon Martin when he may not have. Premeditated, thinking ahead that once he brutally murdered the suspect Trayvon Martin, he did not want information available on the 911 tape so he could not be found. 2. Zimmerman agrees to meet the police by the mailboxes. Then Zimmerman changes his mind because of his determination to hunt down and confront what he called a blank coon and murder suspect Trayvon Martin, when he asked the operator to have the police call him so he could tell them where he is at, rather than meet at a designated location by the mailboxes. Children are taught to run away from strangers and to cry for help. According to reports, witnesses, they heard a child crying for help. It appears from reports Trayvon Martin did not know George Zimmerman, who could be a child molester and or murderer, in which it appears Zimmerman turned out to be a murderer. Trayvon Martin's parents wanted the Federal Bureau of Investigation, also known as the FBI, to get involved. Therefore, they need to know the following regarding the FBI's racist history. 1. Is a fronting agency for the Ku Klux Klan. In other words, implements the Ku Klux Klan practices and beliefs. 2. Cover-up of hate crimes. 3. Framing civil rights organizations such as the Republic of New Africa, Black Panthers, etc. for purposes of destroying and separating the African American communities. 4. Operated, controlled, run by Baker Donaldson Bierman Caldwell Berkowitz, which is a racist law firm and represents the presidents of the United States, members of the United States Congress, judges, justices, state governors, municipalities, such as the police departments, insurance companies, such as Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, who may have a financial, business, personal interest in the Trayvon Martin Sanford Police Department matter. There are reports that George Zimmerman's father, Robert Zimmerman, is a retired justice of the Supreme Court of Virginia. If so, it is important to note that Baker Donaldson Bierman Caldwell and Berkowitz have a financial, business, personal interest with justices, judges with the Supreme Court of Virginia. Baker Donaldson has a history of providing governors of the state of Virginia, as well as Mississippi and Tennessee, with legal counsel and advice, as it does with the President of the United States of America, President Barack Hussein Obama II. Barack Obama also has ties with Baker Donaldson and a history with the Ku Klux Klan practices and beliefs, and implementing such practices and beliefs with the conducting of day-to-day business transactions. No, we are not going back in time. In fact, it is time to move forward under the right to revolution. George Zimmerman, from his 911 call, clearly appears to be a racist, one trained to hate and determined to kill, murder, what he called a coon, a product of America's invisible empire, led by such leaders as Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz, a racist organization that owns and controls President Barack Obama, the White House, and other government agencies, such as the Federal Bureau of Investigation, also known as the FBI. Baker Donaldson placing its people, such as Bradley S. Clanton, in key positions to provide false, misleading, and compromised reports to the President of the United States, which at the time is President Barack Obama, and the United States Congress, regarding the racial injustices in the United States of America. Baker Donaldson's deep roots with the Ku Klux Klan and the Ku Klux Klan members, which have a major role in putting their House Negro President Barack Obama in the White House. Newsflash, we are not going back. We are moving forward, and will do so under the right of revolution. Just as Florida has the stand your ground law, it also has a citizen's arrest law under the state of Florida as well as federal law. Arrest: when someone has the reasonable suspicion that a felony has been committed, a citizen's arrest might be made. The arrest is no different than any other police arrest. All relevant laws apply. Excessive force cannot be used, for example. But the general concept is that any citizen has the right to stop another who has committed a felony. Local enforcement: once the arrest is made, the citizen must call the police chief of the locality in which the arrest is made. That officer then arrives at the scene or sends a deputy that will then read the Miranda rights and go through the other necessities of the arresting process. The local jurisdiction is responsible for any irregularities in the arresting process of the citizen in the latter trial. This is to say that a civilian making an arrest is treated by the courts like a trained police officer and is responsible, or the same code of conduct. The implication of the law here is that all citizens, when making an arrest under the proper circumstances of reasonable suspicion, have both the rights and duties of a police officer. Under the citizen's arrest, both the arresting officer or civilian and the responding local officer then both must appear at the court trial of the defendant in the county within which the arrest was made. The judge, so it is implied, will then question the civilian on the nature of the arrest. So they may want to just begin the process and then consider, like I said, seeking legal counsel to getting a jury trial and moving forward. If the local federal officials or government officials are not acting, then the citizens may want to move forward under the right of revolution and exercise their rights also under the United States Constitution and see that this man, if they believe he is guilty, George Zimmerman, is brought to justice. No. Well, there's been attacks on Trayvon Martin, trying to smear his name according to his mom and having her all in tears. Let's look at the culprit. What is this George Zimmerman character? He has an arrest record, apparently. And he was the neighborhood watch volunteer. Record for domestic violence, restraining order was issued. Resisting officer with violence, battery of law enforcement officer. Now, the alleged death, premeditated murder of Trayvon Martin. The list probably is longer than that. Yes, it's probably time just to go ahead and move forward and consider bringing him in under the citizens arrest laws. Welcome to the ruthless and unlawful illegal practices of Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz, legal counsel for Barack Obama, the United States Congress, some of them, and judges in the courts, because that's what they do. They try to dig up dirt on whomever they go after to try to use it for blackmail purposes. So, hello, when they came out in regards to Trayvon Martin's school suspension for spraying graffiti, finding an empty baggie with traces of marijuana, tardiness and truancy, they thought they had the Martins. Well, look at who's in the White House. None other than United States President Barack Obama. From pictures on the internet, and I guess from a story, he's a marijuana smoker, and he's in the White House. Then we can look at another judge named Judge Mathis. He had a history of juvenile problems. He was arrested numerous times. He was a gang member, but he went on and cleaned up his life, and now he's a judge, and he has his own television program. So that doesn't even justify why this lunatic wanted to be a vigilante that day and take the laws into his own hand after he was told not to pursue Trayvon Martin. Why George Zimmerman took the laws into his own hand, stalked a guy, tracked him down, shot and killed him. There's no excuse for that. There is no excuse for that. So much for their finding marijuana and all that. Because again, look at who's in the White House. Duh. Yes, it's racist. And not only that, I'm going there because from the report that Vogel Denise Newsom released on January 10th, 2012, she exposed who was behind the racial attacks going on in the United States of America, the Jewish Zionists and the white supremacist groups. And lo and behold, there it is, Baker, Donaldson, Bierman, Caldwell, and Berkowitz. And then they put their spokesperson on television, Geraldo Rivera, to blame the victim for wearing a hoodie, stating that he was to blame for wearing a hoodie, and the only time you should wear a hoodie is if it's raining or you're at a track meet. The ignorance. And even in the 911 tape, George Zimmerman said it was raining. But again, Geraldo Rivera, the one who said the Jews need me right now. Then look at Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wiseman Schultz, a recipient of complaints in regards to the racial injustices in the recent attacks on Florida A&M University. Baker, Donaldson, Caldwell, and Berkowitz provides counsel and advice to President Barack Obama. Liberty Mutual. So one may want to check and see if Liberty Mutual is the insurance carrier for the Sanford Police Department. The following information may be pertinent in regards to the FBI, Baker Donaldson's possible Zimmerman connections. Well, Baker Donaldson has representatives or have had attorneys in the position as chief of staff or senior counsel to the FBI. Baker Donaldson has had, or probably still do, chief of staff to the United States President Barack Obama, chief of staff to the United States Vice President. Baker Donaldson has had, and probably still do, attorneys or employees with the United States Commission on Human Rights, who submits reports, findings, and recommendations to the United States President Barack Obama and the United States Congress. George Zimmerman, his father, Robert J. Zimmerman, served as magistrate judge for the Virginia Supreme Court. His mother is a court clerk. Well, newsflash, Baker Donaldson is special counselor to the governor of Virginia. And Baker Donaldson is also counsel or advisor to a Supreme Court justice in the Supreme Court of Virginia. There's your ties. There's your connection. Just follow the breadcrumbs. And believe me, and most likely it'll probably expose more.